Hello there. Now, it's been said that Nigel Farage is ruthless when dealing with his enemies, but that will not work with Elon Musk. Now, many people are saying that Elon Musk's Nigel Farage is not the person to lead Reform UK, but Rupert Lowe might be moment was the catalyst that set the hairs running to cause this current spat between Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe. But it now gets worse for Nigel, because the Financial Times is reporting that allies of Musk are saying he's ready to back a new party in the UK as an alternative to Reform UK. Has Nigel Farage just made an enemy of Elon Musk by so ruthlessly attacking Rupert Lowe? And all this has the woke left up in arms, of course, calling it electoral interference. Although they would be more than happy to see Musk destroy Farage, but it's the setting up of a new centre-right party that might be more effective than Reform UK. That is the problem for the woke left here. And now we hear that the Met Police is officially investigating Rupert Lowe over allegations of threats of violence towards Reform UK chairman Mohammed Zia Yusuf. I think this is now past any point of no return, whoever wins out in the end. And if Musk does step in, stand by for real fireworks. And with a Lib Dem councillor, Reg Kane, crossing the floor to Reform UK. Now, the FT also discloses that former Reform UK officials and Rupert Lowe have been discussing setting up a new party to challenge Reform UK, and speculation abounds that there could be a new offering of Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, Andrew Bridgen and Howard Cox, amongst many others. And the FT quotes one unnamed insider as saying, "Rupert is a fighter. He's a bulldog. He won't be bowed by this." Now, just before I bring Richard in case you haven't seen this, Rupert Lowe's parliamentary team has issued an in-depth statement, which can be found on Lowe's X account. Now, I'll just put it up for completeness here. And that's what it looks like. It's very long. But they do summarise it at the end by saying, "Rupert is a good MP, a good boss and a good man. He does not deserve what is happening to him." And that is something that flies in the face of the Reform UK hierarchy of those claims against him. So, Richard, what do you think about all of this?
Jeff, this story may seem like a bit of a maybe and what if, but the fact, as you mentioned, of the FT reporting on this does suggest that it's not out of the realm of possibility, if not a high probability, considering Musk's past admiration for Rupert Lowe and his disappointment in Nigel Farage. Let's be real here. We are hearing more and more talk about people shifting back over to the Uni Party as a protest against Farage and the way that Reform has treated not just Rupert Lowe, but others such as Howard Cox, Ben Habib, to name but a few. And Elon Musk will be more than aware of this as he watches Britain, from the state. He must be watching in complete despair at this pit of misery that is Britain. Isn't it a sad reflection on our country that the only hope we may now have comes from a man gazing across the pond from America? Is it any wonder that so many experts and pundits are commenting and speculating upon the impending and what seems like inevitable civil war heading to the UK? Musk himself has said it's an inevitability. The situation here is dire. And the reality is Britain is at breaking point. And Nigel Farage and his party they've changed since the rise of Mohammed Zia Yusuf in their ranks and his influence. His influence does not appear to be a positive thing, but it seems to be utterly toxic, resulting in the loss of key players in Reform, who the public trust and trusted and can relate to. Not a bunch of posh boys that a lot of people see the hierarchy, but people like Ben Habib, people like Rupert Lowe. Yes, they both speak very well, but they're very down-to-earth people right now the public's trust is borderline negligible in reform. And unless Nigel Farage can do the right thing and sack the one person causing so much division and reinstate Ben Habib, Howard Cox and Rupert Lowe, then it could be about to, well, I think, blow reform's chances of power. And thus, removing any hope for the rest of us. Unless, of course, Musk steps into the fray. And it makes you wonder if Nigel Farage actually wants power when he is prepared to sit back and watch his own party self-destruct. After careful deliberation and reading all sides of the argument, I am now convinced that this has all the halls of a setup by the Reform leadership to make the party, overly sanitized, an overly sanitized version of its former self, to the point where they seem to be more liberal and woke than the Tories under Theresa May. So if drastic action isn't taken soon, then I'm afraid it's time for one last-ditch attempt at this nation bringing, birthing a new political party that will represent the people of this country and its Judeo-Christian values. What role UKIP under Nick Tenconi will play, I have no idea. But Musk has the finances and potentially the will to leapfrog Reform and the Tories by directly or indirectly funding huge amount of money into a new political party, and even supporting a new media infrastructure to go along with it. I mean, if Farage doesn't sort this out soon, it's over, and he will have brought this on himself and his party. And one question, before I go, Jeff, before I go back over to you, one question that makes me wonder what the hell is going on that nobody else has dared to ask is if the hierarchy of Reform, I mean, if it's so saddened and worried about Rupert Lowe potentially having dementia, then why call the police on the man? Why not speak to social services, occupational health, get a private doctor in to assess him out of concern for him? Sorry, something doesn't add up here at all. Jeff.
That's a very good point. And as Colin H. says, the shouty Welshman is great.
I'm angry. I'm bloody angry.
No, you're not, are you?
I mean, this country is at such a point right now that everybody's desperate. They're all clinging to some kind of hope. And, I'm hoping that, I'm still hoping that Reform will sort their act out if it can be done. I really am. But if they can't and they don't do it soon, then yes, Elon Musk, great if he steps into the fray. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Support people like Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib because they were the heart and the soul of Reform. Let's not forget this. And your Howard Coxes. And let's not forget who else who's chucked out. Someone like Gawain Towler, who is, fair play to him. He's been there still supporting from the background, even though he was booted out from his position. There's a lot of people who still believe and want Reform to succeed. Ben Habib said he wants Reform to succeed. But how the hell can it? When you look at the public are looking on at this. Sorry, this move by Zia Yusuf contacting the police is sickening to me. If that man has, hypothetically, which I don't believe he has, but if he has got some kind of dementia or illness, then ring in the police about something that happened back in December. Okay, righty-ho. Sorry, I'm fuming.
Anyway, Mr. Unpredictable says he watched a video of Ben Habib and Carl Benjamin, and Ben mentioned they'll be doing something, so one to watch for. Definitely one to watch for. Now, one of the old sayings about sort of throwing mud about is when you throw mud, you lose ground. And another adds in that a lot of the mud sticks to your own hands anyway. So you're flinging mud, it's sticking to you, you're losing ground. And this is exactly what appears to be happening to Nigel Farage, Mohammed Zia Yusuf, and Lee Anderson right now. And here's what Howard Cox said on X yesterday. I'll just bring this one up. I have to remove the old one and put this one up. Please let Reform members vote for who should be running the party. That would put this current avoidable spat to bed. Over a dozen Reform branches have contacted me saying they have been replaced, overridden, and disrespected by Zia Yusuf's HQ team. The disgruntled list goes on and on, from Esher to Amber Valley, from Medway to Runnymede to Stafford. loyal reformers are being cast aside in the name of Nigel's less than transparent democratising of the party's structure. So it's not just Rupert then, it seems. And he goes on to talk about, because this is quite a long ex-post, he goes on to talk about hundreds of people leaving Reform and, being really upset. And, so I don't know. Things aren't looking good in the party Reform UK's little kingdom at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, some people are going to be commenting now saying, oh, look, stop saying all these bad things about Nigel and about Reform. I'm thinking, my goodness, we're not the ones who are utterly destroying Reform right now. I would love Reform to work. I would love it to work. I want an alternative to the Uni Party. You probably watching this want an alternative to the Uni Party, to Labour and Tories, that repetitive wheel of insanity where we're all downtrodden. Us peasants, the great unwashed and downtrodden, mean nothing to them. And we thought maybe there is a political party that could actually represent us. Maybe there is one. And then all of a sudden, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now, one of the big barriers to successfully setting up a new party, which is what some people are talking about, is the amount of ready cash it soaks up. Yes, it's easy and cheap enough to register a new party with the Electoral Commission, but getting the message out there, getting big hitters interested and on side, and getting good policies in place to make it successful does take a lot of time and money. And then you have to sustain that cash inflow for years in order to build towards anything that can get a few MPs, let alone form a government. But one place they could get the dosh from is from Nigel Farage. Because if these claims being made by him and his Reform UK team prove to be a lot of hot air, then defamation suits from Rupert Lowe could ensue. Although I'm not sure Rupert Lowe is short of a bob or two himself anyway, or Musk could send them a hefty check. Now, there is another barrier to setting up a party, and that is the number of new parties getting set up right now. 4 new political parties have been registered in this month alone, and it's only the 11th. Bringing the total of new political parties registered in the UK just this year to 12. That's 12 new political parties. Now, one of them is called the Revolt, with one of their slogans pronouncing... Got to remove the old ones.
Go on, Jeff, get the right one.
Yeah, got it. With one of their slogans being, I am revolting. The Revolting Party. There you go. So there is hope out there for all of us. Now, let's see what their slogans are, shall we? So this is the Revolting Party. And now it's got some slogans, and we'll go to these. And the best ones are, give chaos a chance, and let's demolish Downing Street.
Oh, dear.
Now, that sounds like an interesting party to me.
I
don't know about you.
Not so sure about that. I mean, well, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you do hear banging coming from your microphone, it is from my microphone picking up the banging. It's Nigel Farage. He's not very happy with me. He's outside with Mohammed Zia Youssef and Richard Tice. They're trying to gain access, but they're not coming in. You shall not pass. Anyway, yes. There is going to be a danger of vote splitting, whatever happens now, unless there is full confidence. And I mean this now. This has to be said. I'm sorry, I have to play devil's advocate once again. If there is to be a new party, okay, and an alternative for the centre-right, or even the little more to the right of alternative for reform, to reform, then we have to be aware that if Musk is going to do this, he has to be 100% certain that he can beat reform and win, and that his finances and that his influence will be sufficient to beat reform. Otherwise, we are in a very precarious situation. Maybe there needs to be some kind of grand coalition of the right. I've heard a few people speak on this. But when you hear Robert Jenrick speaking, and he's talking more sense at the moment than Farage, you go, you can understand why lots of people are leaving Reform now, or considering, especially now, and looking back towards the Tories. And I'm like, oh no, don't do it. Just don't do it, please. What a mess. What a mess, Jeff. Jeff, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Well, Mandy says, oh, well, I'm still voting for Nigel. If he's not there, I'll just give Starmer my vote because you lot deserve it. Seems a bit strange. It sounds like, biting your nose off to spite your face if you haven't got exactly what you want. If Nigel Farage isn't there, for me, it's the next best right of centre you can get. Everybody threw all their trust behind Nigel Farage and Reform UK.
Yeah,
Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. And everyone on the right, that is, most people. So, yeah. Pity, but it's not clever.
No. So you've got a super chat in here. If you can read that one out there, Jeff.
Yeah, just bear with me. I've just seen this one from Trudy. I left Reform last year. Rupert and Ben, let's do it. Shocking what they're doing to Rupert. I support Rupert. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm hearing a lot of that. Yeah. The only thing, as I said yesterday, is we've got time on our hands. We've got 4 years of Labour to suffer. So we have,
Yes.
Anyway, let's have a look.
Lots of people mentioning UKIP here, though. There's a lot of people saying UKIP, and we can't say, you can't write UKIP off at the end of the day, because right now, the only political party behind that's there waiting in the wings is UKIP, other than Reform. The only one that's got any potential momentum. Now, if that was to be backed by Elon Musk, and if Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib were to join, I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. But if they were to, then the vehicle is already there. But in some people's minds, it's already a tarnished brand. It's a strange one. But I like a lot of what Nick Tenconi's saying. Some of it I'm a little bit about, but in general, a lot of it is what he's talking about, trying to bring back the United Kingdom to being a strong Christian country with Christian values. Yeah.
Yeah. Yam's Physical Catalogue of Media, thank you very much for your contribution. My Dream Party, GB Pack, Ben Habib, Howard Cox, Rupert Lowe, Nick Tenconi, Liz Truss, Tommy Robinson, Andrew Bridge and Katie Hopkins, all funded by Elon Musk. Well, there you go. There's a list of good names there. And funded by someone with all the money.
You didn't get a mention there, Jeff. Sorry, mate.
Oh, I didn't get a mention. Never mind.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yam.
I'll just sit here doing this.
Yeah. We keep going. I think didn't we say we're not actually going to join a political party again because of remaining impartial? There are advantages to that, but
because then I can just throw the brown stuff at anyone.
Yeah.
Henry McDermott says UKIP are the way, so that it's still there, and but it is very, very difficult to get away from the fact that Reform UK is is still the big tiger in the right of centre.
Of course it is.
But if it's just lost 20% of its MPs, effectively 20% of its MPs, and lost people like Howard Cox and Ben Habib, I don't know.
But when you actually look at the work that was being done it's more than that in some respects. It's almost like 50% of the value of Reform has been lost, because when you look at how much work Rupert Lowe was doing as an MP, posing questions and etc. in Parliament, then I'm sorry, he's done a hell of a lot more. He's done a hell of a lot more work than all of them.
He's tabled, was it 1,000 questions that demand written answers?
Yes,
and they're really interesting, because if you submit a written question, they have to reply. So it's
Well, he's done that. I think it's 900 or something, or close to 1,000, maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Nigel Farage apparently tabled 20.
As many as that. There you go. Yeah. Well, he's very busy in America, isn't he? In places like that, or he was. Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, a lot of you will be saying, please, we still want reform to win. Of course we do. Of course we want reform to sort itself out, to actually be a party that represents the people. But right now, well, it's not looking.
Yes.
This is up to Nigel Farage. This is all in Farage's court. The ball is right now. You can't say that anybody else can do anything. You can't blame anybody else other than my comment earlier. I mean, look, if the hierarchy are saying about Rupert Lowe having dementia, advising the press that he may have dementia, and then the police are called against a man with dementia, I'm sorry, unless he is actually this physically violent thug, which I am told he most certainly is not. And
well, that statement I showed earlier from his staff, it's well worth going and reading that, because they make it absolutely quite clear that he's a very, very good man. And as I said yesterday, if he is a violent thug and goes around abusing people, where is the hashtag Me Too? Where is it? Where is it? It's not there, is it? There aren't people. Every time a celebrity comes out, and things start coming out, they come, they pile in, Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Where are they?
Yeah, well, it's the exact opposite that's happening. He's getting endorsement and support from members of his own staff. So, a very bad look. And again, I mean, how old is he? Is he 67, Rupert Lowe?
I think he's the same age as me. Yeah, same age as me.
67.
Yeah.
And yet, apparently, he's going to be this incredible threat to, was it a 38-year-old man in Zia Youssef? Oh, okay.
Well, us oldies,
All right. No.
There you
I
go.
wouldn't want to tackle with Jeff, I can tell you. There's life in the old dog yet.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Anyway, it's not a laughing matter, really, is it?
No, it's not. No.
I mean, Jack Jones is of the opinion that Rupert wants to save the UK and Nigel just wants the power. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, the police are investigating it now, and very sad state of affairs. I mean, for me, it's the timing of it. I can't say for definite. None of us can say maybe he did threaten Zia Youssef or had some hot words with him. I mean, Jeff, you and I could take each other could ring the police up every day for some of the things we say to each other on the phone. Let's face it. My goodness, if you lot knew some of the conversations Jeff and I have. Oh my goodness, heated, robust. Oh, there we go.
Robust. Yeah. He keeps wanting to change my script. When I've spent hours doing something and putting an idea together, he's, well, that's wrong. What do you mean? Well, that's all wrong.
Well, it's time for a rewrite. Read this out, Jeff. Read this out.
Yeah. Do you know, actually, ladies and gentlemen, he does say that. He says, I'll write it out for you. Just read that out. And I'm looking at it going, in which language is this?
Hey, that's Welsh.
Hey.
Anyway, sorry. Enough about us. Enough about us. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've done this one.
Yes, I will just say that our good friend Tusi is going online very, 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 very shortly. He's going live. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll bow out here and give him space to go for it. So there you go. But on that, all I'll say is that we now have a position where Reform UK is damaging itself every single hour just by this continuing. And unless they can deal with this decisively, one way or the other, then it's going to grind on. The press aren't going to let it go. Yeah. And while the press won't let it go, we can't let it go. You see what I mean? It's self-fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
right. We've got to go, Jeff. So everyone, please like, subscribe, click the all option. You know the drill. And go to Maya Tusi. He's got something exciting coming up as well, I believe. So thank you for watching. And it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him as well. So thank you very much for watching.
Bye now.